turned 80 this year, and I need to admit something that has been sitting quietly in my chest for a long time. I used to think I understood time. I thought I knew how much of it I had, how it moved, how it would always be there, waiting politely for me to catch up. But somewhere along the way, without any noise or warning, time changed its pace, and I didn't notice until it was already far ahead of me. When I was younger, my days felt wide, but truly easy, but wide, spacious. Mornings had a certain smell back then. Coffee brewing slowly, the soft scrape of a chair across the kitchen floor, sunlight coming in through the same window every single day. I had routines that felt permanent. Wake up early, get dressed in a hurry, tell myself there would always be more time later, later to rest, later to visit, later to say the things that felt a little too tender to say out loud. Back then, weeks moved in an orderly line, one after another, predictable, reliable. Birthdays came, but they didn't mean very much. 70 felt far away. 80 was something that belonged to other people. I remember how busy life used to feel. There was always something waiting, work to finish, bills to handle, someone needing help, something needing fixing. Even the small moments, sitting on the porch, folding laundry, watching the evening news, felt like they were part of a long, steady road. I truly believed I was moving forward carefully, responsibly, patiently. What I didn't understand was how quietly the years were folding themselves behind me. The change didn't come all at once. There was no single morning where everything suddenly felt different. It was softer than that, quieter. First, it was little things. The calendar pages seemed to turn faster. The children's voices sounded more grown. Holidays started arriving sooner than expected. I would catch myself saying, "Wasn't it just summer?" Or, "Didn't we just celebrate this?" At the time, I brushed it off. That's just life, I told myself. That's what getting older looks like. But the truth is, something deeper was already shifting. The house began to feel different, not empty exactly, but quieter in a way that settled into the walls. Mornings became slower, not in a bad way, just slower. I noticed how long the sunlight stayed in the same spot on the floor. I noticed how certain songs on the radio carried more memories than they used to. I noticed how often I found myself sitting still, thinking about moments that once felt ordinary. That was when I began to understand. Time wasn't speeding up. I was finally slowing down enough to see it clearly. Turning 80 didn't arrive with fireworks. It came gently, almost politely. One day I was 79, and then, quietly, I wasn't. What surprised me most wasn't the number. It was the feeling that came with it, a kind of soft awareness. Not fear, not panic, just a quiet knowing that time is not something we hold. It's something we move through, and it never stops moving. Here's the part I wish someone had told me earlier. Time does not disappear in the big moments. It slips away in the ordinary ones. In the mornings, we rush through. In the phone calls, we postpone. In the small joys we assume will always be waiting for us tomorrow. I spent so many years thinking the important parts of life were still ahead. I didn't realize many of them were already happening. Right there in the middle of my normal, everyday days. If you are listening to me now, and if some of this feels familiar, I want you to know something gently. You are not imagining it. There does come a season in life when time feels different in your hands. Softer, more delicate, more precious. in a way that is hard to explain to younger people. And if sometimes you find yourself sitting quietly wondering where certain years went, you are not alone in that feeling, not even a little. I have learned something at 80 that I carried too long to understand. Regret does not always come from the big mistakes. Sometimes it comes from the small delays. The visits we said we would make soon, the conversations we thought could wait, the quiet moments of joy we hurried past because we believed there would be more of them later. Most of the time, there were, but not always in the way we expected. Still, I want to be careful here, because turning 80 has also taught me something gentle and comforting. Time may move quietly. It may surprise us. It may even leave us wondering how the years folded so quickly. But it also leaves us with something beautiful, perspective, a softer way of seeing what truly mattered all along, the laughter that filled ordinary rooms, the hands we held without thinking twice, the simple mornings that once felt forgettable, but now glow warmly in memory. If your days feel slower now, if certain afternoons carry a little more silence than they used to, please don't mistake that for something being lost. Sometimes it is simply life inviting you to notice what you were too busy to see before. The way the light changes in late afternoon, the comfort of familiar routines, the quiet strength it takes to keep moving forward year after year. At 80, I don't feel like time betrayed me. I don't even feel like it rushed past me. I feel like I finally learned how to see it. And strangely, that has brought me a kind of peace I did not expect. So if you have been feeling reflective lately, if certain memories have been visiting you more often, if you sometimes sit in the quiet and wonder how the years arranged themselves so quickly, you are simply arriving at a deeper understanding of something we all share. Time was never meant to be chased, only lived, gently, patiently, one ordinary day at a time. And wherever you are in your years tonight, I hope you give yourself permission to sit with the moments that still feel warm, because they are still yours. They always were.